in Los Angeles at UCLA campus. Police are in riot gear. They are on the scene as we speak because there overnight it appeared Palestinian protesters in the encampment were being attacked by pro-Israeli counter-protesters, and violence ensued. We now know that there are police in riot gear on the ground, and someone who is there watching all of this happen are Stephanie Elam. They're live for us at UCLA. Stephanie, can you give me some sense, if you can hear me, of what you're seeing this morning as the police presence grows?
Yeah, what we're seeing now, Sarah, is very different than what we were seeing on campus overnight, with some of those visuals of seeing fireworks being thrown and the counter protesters and protests going at each other. I want to show you this over here, just because right now we can see this group of people. I believe they were just pushed out of the, they were pushed out from inside the encampment. Law enforcement now making this line here that you can see. And these are law enforcement officers from different agencies locally. CHP, I see some Beverly Hills Police, I see LAPD. So they're all here, and they've been making this line. They're holding this line now, and as I can see now, they're also starting to build up this barricade here. What we saw overnight was very different. I can tell you that we did hear some chanting not so long ago within the last hour, but that chanting seems to have stopped now. It does seem that the energy has changed here compared to what it looked like overnight when it was just devolving. And it just seemed like there was just different sides going at each other. And again, we're not clear on what caused everything to degrade in the way that it did overnight. I was out here all day yesterday, and you saw some people yelling at each other, but it was nothing of anything to the scale that we've seen at other campuses. What happened from then to overnight, not clear, which led to the agitation that we saw overnight here, the breaking down of the barriers. And one thing I also want to explain to you is just how they've done it here. Where we are standing, if you're familiar with UCLA's campus, would be closer to the eastern side of the city. This side, it would be the pro-Israeli demonstrators. Once you go beyond that, there is a barricade, and then there's a walkway that they've barricaded. You see security in there, and then another wall of barricade, and on that other side is where you would see that encampment of the pro-Palestinian supporters. So they tried to keep people apart from both sides, and every now and then you would see a flare-up. You see people yelling at each other over those barriers yesterday. But what we saw in the last few hours is a much more aggressive posture. But I can tell you now on campus, police officers, law enforcement officers are all around here, and it does seem that there's a forced move to keep people away from the center of this encampment and keep pushing people further out here. Sarah.
Stephanie, you have been watching this whole thing unfold for days now. Thank you so much to you and your photographer there giving us the scene of what is happening on UCLA. If anything changes, we will certainly be getting back to you throughout the hour. I appreciate it. Joining me now is Anna Dailu. She is a reporter for the school newspaper, The Daily Bruin. And can you give me some sense, were you out last night, or what can you tell me about what happened last night and how the violence ended up happening, if it was one side being attacked by the other?
Yeah, so the counter-protester activity here at UCLA has been a sort of constant throughout the days the encampment has existed. There was some activity earlier today, but I would say a little before 11 p.m. last night, all of a sudden many more people appeared, and so they began pushing against the barricades. I was out there a few minutes after this began, and I would say around 11, fireworks were fired, tear gas was sprayed. We have reporters who were gassed and reporters who were assaulted. So it has been a rather chaotic day of events at UCLA. We're not quite sure either as to how it escalated to this degree. It's not something that we obviously have seen yet on campus, but it is definitely violent in ways that previous demonstrations by the counter-protesters weren't. Our sense is that it was, we are hearing from sources on the ground that it was largely one-sided. It's a bit difficult for us to ascertain, obviously, among the chaos that is still going on, but that is what sources told us, and we're still not clear as to the exact events that unfolded over the past few hours.
Okay, so you said there were fireworks that were fired. You said that there was tear gas, and we should be clear, that wasn't the police. This is between the counter-protesters and the pro-Palestinian protesters and the pro-Israeli protesters on the other side. Can you give me a sense? You said that your reporters were also gassed and also faced some violence. Which side were they? Were they inside the encampment, or was this on the pro-Israeli side, the counter-protester side?
We were all standing on the counter-protester side. It's currently unclear as to who released the tear gas. There's also been reports of pepper spray and bear spray. As of the moment, it's very difficult for us to confirm which sides these sprays are coming from, although we're hearing it's more from the counter-protester side. But we have not been allowed into the encampment since it began, so we were all reporting from outside.
Okay. Let me also ask you about, you said that a group of people appeared and it was something a little bit different than what you've been seeing on a daily basis since the encampment began as far as the counter-protesters coming on. Did it appear that these were students that came together? I noticed, can you tell me sort of what kind of weapons were used? I noticed it looked like there were potentially some pipes or something that were being hit at the counter-protesters. Can you give me a sense of who this group is, or if you know who this group is?
Yeah, it's obviously very difficult for us to confirm whether or not they're students. Students obviously come from a range of ages and backgrounds, so it's difficult for us to confirm. We do know for sure that there are non-UCLA students, community members who are present, that they have been present at previous counter-protester events as well. There have been reports of pipes, as I mentioned. I believe people were hit in the head. Reports of tasers, potentially. I'm not too sure on that yet, but I have seen video footage. And I'm not sure what other weapons have been around. I just know it has been a lot of hitting, physical contact, violence.
Anna Dailu, just one more question. Do you expect, with the police presence on campus today, that this encampment will be cleared out? Is that what you're hearing?
It's rather difficult for us to decide. We were told that police would not intervene unless things became violent. Obviously, that happened today. It is very difficult for us to know, and we have not heard anything from the university or the UC as of yet.